All right, so let's go. What am I doing? All right, let's take the leap. Welcome to a little chat, a little yap about my crafting, knitting, well, mostly only knitting today, but kind of if I would make more episodes, I keep it open because I like to think I will do different kind of crafts, and my list, as for everyone, of all the things I want to do is long and never ending. Putting yourself in front of a camera, although it might be 5 people watching, and one being my mom and maybe one being one of my sisters, it still kind of takes some courage. And yeah, this is just a little trial to see what it's like. I mean, I've been a huge consumer of knitting videos mainly, but like crafting videos on YouTube and all kinds of other kind of content categories on YouTube for many, many years. I watched thousands of hours of it. And it's kind of like body doubling, which I heard recently is a thing. When I watch others craft, knit and crochet and so on, it kind of helps me do it. It's like a company, sense of community, sometimes just a background noise while I'm doing other things. So like watching other people do things help you do things and get started. And the sense of community that people who are doing these kind of knitting podcasts that they're often are called, seems just lovely, because I have lovely friends, but not really close friends who are actively doing crafts, not to a big extent anyways, and especially not knitting. And just to kind of reach that community, just some, I don't know, to gather up around this big interest of mine, I did start a knitting and sewing group, very casual, like 2 years ago, and I met so many nice people coming along. It's like just an open house for 3 hours at a nearby place, cafe, and people just come along of all ages. We've had some men, but mostly women, maybe as expected, you know, doing all kinds of projects and garments and blankets, and yeah, sometimes borrowing a sewing machine to sew things and so on. And it's always a very nice thing. I mean, I can be babbling along, which I tend to do, but we can also be very focused on our own stuff and kind of digging into our own project, and it's all just a very kind of welcoming atmosphere. And possibly that is something that I maybe could tap into here on YouTube. So let's just have a yap and see where we end up with this. Maybe I'll never put another episode out. Maybe I will. And I don't have a special format today. I just want to show you kind of what I'm working on and what I'm trying to get sorted out. Okay, so this is unfortunately a bit how I work. I just start talking and then I forget to introduce myself. It's happened before many times. Just a few words about me. So my name is Lisa. I'm based in Stockholm. I live in Stockholm, Sweden with my family. I like knitting and crafting. I think I've come back to it the last couple of years after, through my life. I started knitting when I was about 7. I was taught by my grandma, and I had projects like my mom has saved stuff that I knitted mainly, but also crocheted through the years. And it was everything from just like squares to scarves and sweaters, and even an Icelandic sweater when I was working summer job. I had a summer job in Iceland when I was like 22 or something. She saved that for me. It was very was not wearable, but I kind of like the idea. I like that I was courageous to kind of just go for it. So I've been doing it, but then I also had many years in between where I have not been actively knitting or crocheting or sewing, because sewing is another thing that I would love to become better at. But I even sewed some garments for myself that I wore mainly in my 20s, but it's been a long time since. You know, I've made a few things here and there for my kids, for example, but not much for myself. So so again, that's an interest, and it's a big comfort for me, and something that really helps me focus, feel that I accomplished something, calming. You know, if I listen to, for example, recordings at work, I'm working communications, and I need to stay focused. Some might doodle or, do something else. But if I knit while I'm listening, it's really helping me to focus and kind of take in what I'm listening to or watching. So a couple of years ago now, in the summer, we went to visit family, and there was a charity shop. I love charity shops, secondhand, flea markets, and everything of that. And I especially love the yarn section or craft section, if there is one. And I just found a bag full of very nice, posh yarn that apparently had just recently been handed in. And I just, I wanted to buy the whole bag. And the persons working there did not know what to charge for it. So I even had to bump up what I paid finally, because I didn't want to fool them or I like a bargain, but so I paid 300 Swedish crowns for this bag of lovely yarn with brand names that I had heard about on YouTube and so on. And one was a mulberry silk mix, and it's light blue, so it's not really my color, but I really love to use what I have. It's kind of a big driver, motivator when it comes to crafting with me, to kind of produce something out of something I find in a bag in a charity shop, or with a weaving loom I find in another charity shop. It's just very motivating for me. So I was planning, because it feels very cool to the touch, and I'm a warm person, so I thought, a summer top. And now I have started that summer top. It's the Avani top or vest. I started it twice, and first time I frogged it. I don't even remember why. It was just going. Yeah, it wasn't going as it should. I guess it turned out crazy somehow. I ripped it up, and now I spent weeks in the summer knitting on it, and I just felt this is getting really big. It's like a droopy, but I was too lazy to try it on, and when I finally did, it was droopy as. Yeah, it was just hanging. It was down to here, and then it was just terrible, really bad. I couldn't fix it, because I was maybe I can kind of scrunch it up at the shoulders and make a little feature. No. So now I'm I did an XL, but now I'm doing a medium, because I'm a loose knitter, and I did check the gauge, but apparently it kind of, I don't know. Yeah, my gauge changed along the way, and then I might have to do some kind of modifications to the pattern to kind of stop increasing for the neckline a bit earlier and so on. Let's see where I end up. I'm just determined to get something out of this yarn, a cool summer vest. So that's on, and just restarted it for the third time. Another thing that is also on my needles is for my daughter. She's 7 years old, and I recently, a few years ago, I got this. I got some kind of fun yarn ring like this from my mom. It's from Shoppel, and it's called Zaubepelen. So it's they kind of go together. It's merino wool. Yeah, it's 100% merino and virgin wool. And it's not really, well, I like the colors, but maybe it's nothing that I would wear. So I was thinking my daughter, I think she could like it. And I started knitting a cardigan, and yeah, I got to here and then I was out of wool, and then I was looking around on the internet and I found 2 more of these. So I don't know, I guess I can ending up here with the kind of off-white colors, so maybe I'll continue with that one and then start building more and more kind of the, this is magenta. The kind of colorway or color combination is called Tulip Mania. It's very pink, I guess, hot pink, magenta. Yeah, so just to kind of continue with that. So I have 2 of those, should be enough, should probably be more than enough. Yeah, and I'm trying to minimize my stash and use what I have. Again, I really love using what I have. It's so like, I feel very creative when I'm limited, if you see what I mean. But yeah, that's there. And then another thing I have, which has been lying around, some kind of hibernation now for a while. It is just this huge scrappy blanket that I've been just using. Yeah, I've been using yarn scraps for, and could never have imagined how many purple toned yarn scraps I had. Oh gosh, I made different sections and I started sewing some of them together, and it's supposed to be a huge blanket for my daughter again, was my intention. Let's see where it ends up. And some of these module or sections have been blocked. They kind of softened up, and some are more scrunched together because they have not been blocked. So yeah, but I like it, and it's all scraps. I love that feeling to make use of what I have. And I haven't, as per usual, I mean, I usually prepare a lot, do my research, and then it kind of ends up a bit over, you know, all over the place. Anyways, that's just what happens to me. So I'm trying to, you know, here they don't really match up. So I just cast on this direction, and yeah, planning to knit up here a bit to make it even. Yeah, so it's a proper scrappy blanket, and again, it goes very well to do scrappy blanket projects, as I love to find and make bargains and find little balls of yarn here and there in secondhand shops and so on. Yeah, so those 3 projects, I guess, are like on my needles, more or less actively being worked on, and then I have 1,000 other things, but I just need to get finished with these ones, and then I'll move on. I recently bought a Turkish spindle to try to start spinning, take my first steps into spinning, and have some roving with that. And yeah, it's just dropping that spindle on the floor all the time. It's just breaking. I'm super beginner, like never tried it before. So, and I brought it in my sewing and knitting group, and they were a bit laughing a bit, but I intend to kind of get moving with that and practice and practice and practice to get it sorted. So that's another thing I want to do. And I have a weaving loom waiting for me. I would love to have lots of yarn or thread for it as well that I bought secondhand. So it's kind of waiting for me. I just need to really understand how to properly, what do you say, start it up. Oh gosh, yeah, can't find the English word. I was debating whether or not to do this in Swedish or English, but honestly, I would try to kind of enter a Swedish speaking kind of YouTube community, or start to watch Swedish speaking knitters and crafters, but it doesn't appeal to me as much as the English speaking ones. I just think it's a habit. I've been into the English speaking kind of knitting world here on YouTube for a long time, consumed so much of that it's just yeah, I'm just used to it. But the downside, I guess, is that yeah, I cannot find all the words. Okay, so that was another little leap to take to speak a language which is not yeah, my native tongue. Okay, maybe I should just stop there for now, just see where this ends up. Just make it short and sweet. Okay, I hope to be back. Let's see if I come back with an agenda, a format, clear chapters, headlines, a plan. Maybe not, but I would love to come back and do another episode soon. And maybe show some progress, and maybe I have finished something and I'm kind of opening up to initiate a new project. Let's see. Okay, bye. Thanks anyone, if anyone has listened. Bye.